A very good morning to you. You are watching Y254 TV and I am Hilda Wadidi. It's about that time we delve into youth and politics on this special segment of Y in the Morning. And with me in studio, there's Royalty. Right next to me is the MP of Laisamis, who has come all the way from Eastern Province, Honorable Malimo Arbelle, and also the Secretary General of the Thirdway Alliance, Fredrick Okango. Osalimie what? Say good morning to Kenya.
Yeah, hello Kenya, good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
All right. Fredrick, I wanted you here for a very special reason. Today we are going to discuss the fate of the opposition. And there's one gentleman who is set to jet back into Nairobi today, and he has criticized the famous handshake, and which is causing a very big dilemma in the country right now. I'd like to start with you, Fredrick, because Okot had something to say about it. And since you represent Thirdway Alliance, he said that Raila must apologize and stand down as the people's president.
Correct.
So can you tell us what's happening?
Well, we need to be honest as Kenyans. The elections in this country are about competition. And when you compete, it doesn't mean that you create enmity. Every competition, there must be a loser and a winner. When somebody wins and the institutions and organs of a country declares that person a winner, we can only seek redress in court. If the same court, which is an institution, constitutional institution in the country, declares the same person a winner again, then it's time to live to fight another day. Now, in the last election, we participated, and we did promise Kenyans that we shall live to fight another day. Our other day will come. We do recognize that there is a government in place, but we are not going to support that government blindly. That is what Dr. Kurokot said. We shall participate in the building of our country and correct that government where it goes wrong. That is why we went ahead and took the gap of opposition. And today when people are talking about opposition, there's no opposition. We wonder, there is opposition. Article 119 of the Kenyan Constitution allows every person has a right to petition Parliament concerning matters of its authority regarding petition, amendment, and legislation. That is the Constitution, not like that. So that means even you today, you can petition Parliament, and that is opposition according to Article 119. Now let's go back to this gentleman who is coming. I was watching this morning, and I think you'll be here by 2, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
You know, the handshake was the best thing that happened to this country because it calmed down the political temperatures.
Yes.
As a party, you remember we did give our first reaction. We supported the handshake because that signifies the end of hereditary politics of Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, and it welcomes in the politics of ideas, the politics of new generation of people like Ekuro Okot. In the next election, we will not have Raila Odinga, we will not have Uhuru Kenyatta. The leaders of tomorrow are now. They are not anymore for tomorrow. And that's why we are saying the opposition has come with a lot of ideas, and that is us. The other people who boycotted the election, they went and swayed themselves, and then they came back again and now shook hands with the legitimate president. Do you remember that during these fights, people died?
Yes.
Do you remember that during these fights, some were maimed? A young girl, Pendo, Mora, all of those people died because they were caught in the milieu of politics.
So you're saying that Thirdway Alliance doesn't really recognize NASA coalition as the opposition?
NASA has never been an opposition.
Okay.
It has never been.
What about you, Mheshimiwa? What do you think of this whole fracas between NASA becoming a now united party, no more ANC, no more Ford Kenya, Ikue NASA, and now Wetangula is very disgruntled and he's promising revenge? What do you think is the way forward for that coalition?
Well, the coalition of NASA, that is Ford Kenya and Kalonzo Musyoka's party, plus various other parties. Actually, they came together, the flag bearer being Raila Odinga. Without Raila Odinga, these other people become irrelevant. So, whether there is opposition, whether there is no opposition, actually, so long as Raila Odinga has crossed the floor, that is the only person to be watched. According to me, I just see that all these other people, as much as they are trying to regroup themselves to claim that they want to take the mantle of being to be named as opposition, there's no opposition anymore.
So now that's the issue. If there's no opposition, powerful enough opposition in the country, are we not in trouble?
Well, of course, we need the opposition to put the government in checks and balances. But you see, as Kenyans today, the only concrete person we have always seen that he is actually playing the role of opposition was none other than Raila Odinga. So the fact that Raila Odinga has now crossed the floor to shaking hands with our president, Uhuru Kenyatta, then that means these other oppositions, they might be there, but they are not very effective. Because the Kenyan people would want to really rally behind their person. In this case, assuming that Raila Odinga, like the day they went to Uhuru Park, when he went there to be sworn in as the people's president, you can imagine how many people gathered there at the Uhuru Park. So that tells you that he has a command of many Kenyans, actually. He has followers, let me say. But you can imagine the other day where Tangula and his colleagues, Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, what had happened? Immediately, Raila Odinga crossed the floor to shake hands with the president. Did you see any demonstration on the street?
True that.
Did you see any demonstration? That tells you
they have no
followers in the street. As much as they can call themselves the opposition, but the opposition is of no test.
What do you think, Fredrick?
Well, I agree with the Mheshimiwa. With all due respect to Raila Odinga has served this country. He has created a democratic space. He fought for the democracy, and that's why today some of us would easily speak on some things that before, during the Nyayo times, we were not able to speak on. But what Kenyans must now learn, effective opposition should not be ethnically mobilized. Because that is why we have been talking about, let us run away from tribalism. Because if you look at the approach that most of the politicians, especially the old age politicians, have been using, is ethnic mobilization. And the opposition of putting people on the streets, demonstration, maandamano, wakiswear tunaswear, mtadu, wakifanya hivi tunafanya hivi. You know, that type of politics has brought us where we are today. And that's why we are heavily ethnically mobilized. What we are trying to introduce today is the politics of ideas. The fact that I come from a different party and Mheshimiwa come from a different party should not make us enemies, should not make our supporters go to the street and fight. That one should be of ideas. I don't believe in his opinion as a politician from another party. He might not believe in my opinion as a politician from another party, but we should not incite our people to go and fight. Article 10 of the Constitution talks of what is called national values. One of the national values is, one of the principles of national value is national unity. If we are going to bring our people together, even after handshake, then three things that we must do. Number one, we must apologize to Kenyans as politicians that we went wrong. We have come up to shake hands because we recognize that we misled you. Number two, we must compensate the families who lost their loved ones because they were fighting for the politicians, and that's something that they must do. Then all the positions that we took, because we thought that when in power.
But who is going to do the compensating? Is it Raila and Uhuru or
the people who led the demos? President Uhuru Kenyatta, if there are allegations or there have been proven records that the police actually shot innocent civilians who are unarmed, then the government must also come in and compensate those people. You understand? So that is what we are saying. And again, if you do recognize, like Raila Odinga has now recognized, a man I really respect and my friend, that there is a president and he has shook hands and the temperature has gone down. Speaking of stand down also as the people's president, they must abolish county, what do they call the people's assembly? They must abolish, because we want to work together. In working together, you must reconcile. You cannot work together if you're not reconciled. Otherwise, the smiles and handshake will be plastic.
All right. If you do want to participate in this conversation, the SMS number is 22162. Do slide into our DM and start with YM254 and ask them, Mheshimiwa, the questions. What do you think is the fate of the opposition? Back to you, Mheshimiwa. Wetangula has said that Raila needs, the ODM party needs to stop pushing this narrative that the principals betrayed Raila during the swearing in, so it's okay for Raila to betray them now. Wetangula said that Raila is actually the one who told them to stay behind that day, so that in case he was arrested for treason, this is according to Wetangula, so that in case he was arrested for treason, they would be there to come and save him. Do you think Wetangula is telling the truth?
You know, what happened is, you know, I'm telling you everything about politics in Kenya today. It is actually, people are looking at what Raila Odinga has said. Where Raila Odinga has gone. Because he has followers. Even on that material day, where people actually converged at Uhuru Park.
Yes.
It was very much clear, it was said, actually Raila Odinga knew very well in his mind, that had he gone there to be sworn in as the people's president, it was going to be a treason. And actually, many of his colleagues in NASA coalition were expected to also to accompany him and to be there also with him.
Yes.
But unfortunately, because they were scared that either they are going to be shot or they are going to be arrested, so they shied off. And Raila Odinga, as much as is actually the face of the opposition, he decided to walk there because he could not really betray his people.
Yes.
People have already assembled there. How will you run away again?
Imagine.
It is going to be an embarrassment for himself. So whether treason or not, he had to go there. And he went. So, and actually he became a hero. He carried the day.
Yes.
He was sworn in as the people's president. You see, politics, it is a process. You have to do it on daily basis. So as such, you must be prepared for it either way. So for Wetangula and his colleagues, the fact that now the president, Raila Odinga has shaken hands with the president, they feel betrayed again. Why didn't you consult us? Why didn't you also take us with you? You see, the person here whom Kenyans are looking at is not Weta. It is not Mudavadi. It is not Kalonzo Musyoka. If actually they were of any essence then, why didn't we see demonstration on the streets? If at all they have a calling, they have a command of their people. But Raila Odinga went ahead and he crossed the floor to shake hands with the president, legitimate elected president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta. And that, how many people have really appreciated? And even, as you can imagine, even economically today, the dollar has gone down, which means that the economy of the country is even appreciating.
Yeah.
But Weta, even in the house alone, you know, he was actually, he was a minority leader in the Senate. Even that seat was taken away from him. So did you see any demonstration in the street? Not at all. So I'm telling you, some people are just there as cocoon sitting as opposition. In fact, they can only be something if they were with Raila Odinga. So long as Raila Odinga is not with them, they don't they don't make any difference.
Now that you guys you mentioned that politics is a process and there's this whole game plan for 2022. Well, the deputy president has the past few weeks has been in a lot of meetings in Meru, Embu, Nyeri, and so people are speculating what could he be doing. You're a member of parliament. He's meeting up with members of parliament from the Gema community. Do you think it has anything to do with 2022 or
why not? Because for me, I represent Laisamis constituency as their member of parliament. However, I am also a pastoralist. In this country, pastoralist communities would want to see a pastoralist president come 2022. And the fact that we have elected Uhuru Kenyatta as our president, we are only counting days to reach 2022. Of course, Ruto, the deputy president, William Ruto, whatever he's doing, moving around the country, is very much in order because he has to make himself now popular, speak to people, speak to communities that kindly, I am the one to become the president 2022. And actually even the Uhuru, the president now is also, because the fact that he helped the Uhuru Kenyatta last time,
Yes.
the same is expected from Uhuru Kenyatta and the Gamer community to support Ruto. Yeah.
So they're supposed to return the favor.
Why not?
Well, Sonko said something in response to that particular move that Ruto made during a church service. Fredrick, I'd like you to answer that. Sonko said he was basically advising Ruto, and he told him that Mount Kenya politicians are scheming to incapacitate him to be a president for 2022. Do you think it is propaganda, or do you think that maybe there's a possibility they say that they owe Ruto no debt?
You know, in politics, everything is possible, and anything is also possible. But I would really encourage Kenyans to run away from 2022 campaigns now. Whatever Sonko says, those are his opinions. I don't think they matter most. But politically speaking, there's a lot of fear when a stranger gets in through the main door, and you realize at that point now the owners of the house, some of them must leave through the window. And that's what's happening in Jubilee. Those fears are there, and I pray for them that they deal with them. But what Kenyans should now start discussing is not who is going to be the next president in 2022. What we should do, we should pray we get there so that we live to see that day. But what we need to do now, we need to go into a national conversation. I've said this in several shows. A national conversation where we involve all Kenyans. Let us have a handshake beyond Harambee House. Let us have a handshake to the villages, where we look at what are the issues that are concerning the people of Laisamis. How do we sort them as leaders of all parties of this country, as all elected leaders and non-elected leaders? Let us come together. They talk of national dialogue. National dialogue is not enough. We want a national conversation. A national conversation that's going to talk about employment and unemployment. Majority of your viewers in this show are youths. They are the majority. 66%. They are underemployed or unemployed. They want jobs. The other issue is health. We have had issues in Kenyatta National Hospital. Look at the bad headlines from Kenyatta National Hospital.
Yes.
We want a national conversation of how we're going to fix our health problems. The other issue is on strike. Police are getting a pay cut. Lecturers are on strike today. Are we talking about them? We are talking about 2022. The political formation, let me get back to Okango. The political formation that are happening today, those were designed that way. I don't believe that Raila Odinga has a problem with Okango. No. That is the nature of Kenyan politics. You must start a formation 4 years before the next election. And then one day, they'll realize again that, you know what, we're working for the same cause, let's come together. Kenyans, you are on your own. That is why we are asking them, get into a political vehicle that will give you a platform to talk about the issues that are affecting you as a young man, as an elderly man, as a woman, as a youth. That vehicle is the new generation of politics that we are playing at Thirdway landscape.
Okay, let me respond to that. Speaking of the issues arising in employment and unemployment, which most youth are suffering from, we got some news yesterday that CEOs of parastatals no longer have an age limit. Like, you know, usually they're supposed to have 3 to 5 years in office, then they're eligible for reappointment for a second term, and then they must retire at 60. Now, there's no retiring.
Let me tell you, it's very unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the youth of this country are flower girls, because we escort the politician to the altar.
Yeah.
We are the people who feel rallies during the weekday when everyone is at work. We're the people who get 50 shillings to go and shout. We're the people who are told go left, we go left, go right, we go right. That should not happen. Look at that. One of the reasons why we have not had a voice at the decision-making table is because we are not involved in politics. I want to challenge the youth of this country. Get involved. Politics is life.
Yes.
It determines what you eat, what you sleep, what you drive, everything. It determines. Because he just said, and it's true, after the handshake, the economy is like stabilizing.
Yeah.
The handshake was political. Look at how politics affects everything. we must get involved. For the issue of having the parastatal chiefs to go beyond 60 years, it is unfortunate. It is something that we are going to petition. Actually, we have written to the Public Service Commission as a party. We are going to petition it. Let's meet in court.
All right.
Yeah, maybe if I will contribute something.
Yes.
That in Kenya, as much as Kenya really has come out of age, and we actually considered as one of the very democratic countries, and but it's well, as a matter of reality, you will realize that Kenya, each and every individual who would want to go for either for a president to become the president, or either to become a member of parliament, or to to go for a certain position, he comes from a certain tribe. It's very unfortunate, and that is the reality we have with us, that you will never run away from that reality. If you are a Turkana, you belong to Turkanas, and definitely Turkanas will be able to vote you or be able to support you. You'll have to get your backing from your tribe. So likewise, Raila Odinga comes from Luos. He comes from a Luo community. Kalonzo Musyoka comes from Wakamba community. And so forth and so forth. So for also our, let me say, Ruto, he comes from the Rift Valley, where the Nandis, Kipsigis, and all that. So really, as much as my colleague has said, that we need to come out of that and come to a national dialogue where Kenyans will come together to address the issue of food insecurity, to address the issue of employment, to address the issue of health.
I want you to address that age limit thing before we move away from it.
The age limit, well, it's really, we really would like the age limit to remain as it used to be. So that to allow the Kenyan youth who are coming up, as much as there is that narrative that you are the leaders of tomorrow, you will never be the leaders of tomorrow. In order for you to get those jobs, you need to become the leaders of today.
Leaders of now.
Yes.
Oh, I like that. This is why we have this conversation on Mondays on youth and politics. It is important for us to understand what is happening with our leaders. We need to be able to understand what they stand for, so that we can be able to make the necessary changes. 22162 is the number, YM254. Start with YM254, slide into our DM, and please ask the questions you'd like them Heshimi was to answer. Anyway, moving on. There's a conversation I was having with my father yesterday. He likes to plant trees and what have you, and we were discussing even last week about what has happened with the environment in Kenya. There are no trees. There are no natural trees, because we are being told, oh, it's okay, we'll plant trees, we'll plant forest cover, but some of the trees that have been cut down were 100 to 200 years old. How can we salvage the situation?
Well, it is really very important that Kenya has been known to be a green city, actually. And unfortunately, people have cut down trees. And even yesterday, I was flying over Arbelle, and I could see actually many trees have been really cut down. It is very unfortunate. But nevertheless, we need to move on, encourage our children in schools, everyone to participate in order for us to plant more trees, so that the generation to come after us can appreciate that at least they can be able to have clean water, and we can be able, actually even right now there's a lot of pollution, so it has a lot of impact on our environment if a lot of trees are going to be cut.
What about your constituency?
My constituency, yes, of course. For me, I come from almost semi-arid land, where whether you cut trees or not, it is of no difference, because we don't have much trees over there. But definitely, I also encourage my people to keep on planting trees, at least because over there there is temperatures are very high. At least we can be able to have a tree where somebody can be able to have some shade. And
so it's just for shade. Okay.
I think today we are experiencing rains. A few months ago, we were fearing that we are going to go into a very long dry season. When it comes to conservation of our environment, not only trees, even the wildlife. The other day, one of the oldest rhinos died. Remember? Now, what I would encourage Kenyans, especially the young people that are watching us today, let us plant trees. Every day we celebrate a milestone. Your birthday, you have achieved something, plant a tree. Because that way you will have an attachment to this tree till you see it grow. And that way we are also applying ourselves to the national values of patriotism. That is the only way that we can do this. For my brother, where they come from, which are ASAL areas, the water table, remember, is very low. And I don't think that there has been an issue with water. The only issue has been the leadership. So if today the members of parliament can collaborate with the county government, let them drill boreholes in those areas. There are funds, let them drill boreholes. And then now we can do irrigation. We can even water this tree. We have got trees that are adapted to the ASAL areas. They will grow. Let us do that. Leadership, leadership, leadership. That's why we are saying, why don't we change the thinking? Why don't we change our ideas? Why don't we change our approach to leadership? So that we can grow this country. You know, there's nothing like marginalized today. Devolution brought with it the rights to protect the marginalized groups. For example, where my brother comes from. That devolution has funds. Let us apply ourselves, let us apply the money, let us use those funds to develop our country. Let us not go into this habit of corruption where we're given funds to develop a region and you squander the money. That is a vice that Kenyans don't want.
In fact, I want you guys to come next week because I want us to discuss the MCA situation. Apparently, they've also received funds and that story has just gone quiet. Now we don't know what's going to happen, but we'll discuss that next week. Anyway, do you have any parting shots, Mheshimiwa? It's about time we conclude this segment.
Mine, I just want to encourage the youth, our youth out there. I know so many youth, unfortunately, they don't have jobs. And they are coming to move around in Nairobi, although the devolution has really brought some relief that now we can really easily be able to get employment back at your county. But nevertheless, I really would like to encourage the youth not to lose hope, that because we can all not be able to get employment at the same time, but it's good to have hope. But I also would like to tell them to run away from drugs abuse, so that because that is the only way they will really be able to make a difference in life.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Asanteni sana for coming today. Youth and politics, you have been watching.
One thing that
Okango.
Just one thing.
Make it snappy.
We are urging all the youths to join us in the Punguza Mizigo referendum that we are pushing. We have had a meeting with the IBC. They have approved it. We are going through what is called popular initiative under Article 257.
All right.
We want to reduce the size of this parliament. It is so big and the wage bill is so high. That is why a lot of youth do not have jobs. We'll be coming to you. Please embrace us. Let us collect the 1,000 signatures of the voters and let us punguza mizigo that will give us jobs, health and infrastructure.
Sawa, sawa. Asanteni sana.
So
thank you so much.
Maybe I will tell the youth to join
guys,
the
we
wagon.
have to finish.
Yeah, to join the wagon to make William Ruto become the president 2022. Thank you.
All right, you have been watching Youth and Politics with myself, Hilda Wadidi. Do not touch that dial when the morning has started on a high note. Man Crush Monday is coming up. Shiko Kaitani is also coming up. Please, Y254 channel on Twitter, hashtag Y in the Morning, Y254 TV on Facebook, Y in the Morning TV show on Instagram. Do not touch that dial.